Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is John Viveiros, host of Hot Take Hockey, and we're going to be doing our early 2024-2025 NHL season predictions, and we're also going to sprinkle in some playoff predictions and a Stanley Cup final. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Hit that subscribe button, like, notification bell, comment your thoughts down below. We're going to rip through it, all right? We're going to go through the season standings, each division, and then we'll get into the playoffs. Stick around to the end of the video, and as I said, comment your predictions down below. Let's get into it, starting with the Metro division. So I've kind of been torn on the Metro a little bit just in terms of the transition from older players, older generation into new. And when I say older, I mean Sidney Crosby, Alexander Ovechkin. But those two teams have done things different this offseason. And specifically, you look at the Pittsburgh Penguins. They made some moves. They brought in Bunting. At the deadline, they brought in Rutger McGroarty, a guy ready to step onto the scene. There's some controversy there. They brought in some depth pieces, Anthony Beauvillier, Kevin Hayes. Of course, the tragic loss of Johnny Gaudreau. That's going to be a conversation in the Metro Division on and off the ice. And honestly, I'll say that every video. I cannot believe I'm talking about that. So Kevin Hayes, close friend with Johnny Gaudreau. Columbus Blue Jackets in the Metro Division. How are they going to handle the loss of a teammate, a friend? It's going to be an odd situation for everyone in the hockey world to lose such a huge person and player in the league. And obviously there's so much more beyond that. And I will continue to express my condolences to the Gaudreau family and everyone around him. So that's something to consider when you're talking about players and teams here in the Metro. Specifically, like I said, Kevin Hayes, who was so close with Johnny Gaudreau. Is he going to have a bounce back year? The Penguins are definitely going to have to surround him with support. He could potentially be the third line center on the Penguins this year. So my perspective with the Penguins, they got deeper in the forward group, defense group. We'll see what happens. It didn't really change much. They added Grzelcyk. And then goaltending. They need a big year from Jari, and I could see them squeaking into the playoffs. I love what the Capitals did. Jacob Chychrun was one of the big additions in my eyes in the offseason in terms of a team needing something. And the Capitals did it. They got that left shot defenseman, top pair left shot defenseman next to John Carlson. So you got Chychrun and Carlson as a 1-2 punch there. So I like what the Capitals did. I think the Rangers and Devils should be the top two teams in this division. I don't really see how there's much of a debate there. I think the Hurricanes, I don't know what version we're going to get of the Hurricanes, honestly. I think we could see a great version of the Hurricanes again, but they've lost some key pieces. Like they got Gensel towards the end of the year. They had Teuvo Teravainen. What's their goaltending situation? So the Hurricanes are a question mark for me. I could see them being in the playoffs. I have them at 5. I could see them squeaking into the playoffs. We will see. Islanders, again, what are the Islanders? I don't know. They have a solid defense group, good depth. To me, it comes down to two things. Matthew Barzal, Ilya Sorokin. If both those guys have elite years, the Islanders could be playoff bound. And again, will the Columbus Blue Jackets be able to come together and maybe they could have an emotional and just really, I would say in terms of team dynamic, maybe like I honestly could see it both ways. I could see the Blue Jackets and their players really struggle this season, or I could see them coming together and really support each other and be more of an emotional run that they could have. We'll see. And the Flyers too. I mean, I could really see any team battling for a wild card spot here. The Flyers I have at the bottom because what's their goaltending situation? I think their defense. We'll see. Sanheim, Drysdale, York. I could see all of those guys being contributors in terms of a big-time defenseman there. I think the storyline is going to be Mitchkov. I personally go through struggles on a day-to-day basis. You guys see me on YouTube. You see me hosting. You see me doing things in front of large groups of people. That still can bring a lot of anxiety. While anxiety is a common experience, it doesn't have to hold you back from reaching your full potential. That's where BetterHelp comes in, the paid partner of this video. BetterHelp connects you with a credentialed therapist who is trained to listen and give you helpful and unbiased advice. First, you go to their site, answer a few questions, and BetterHelp will match you to a professional who has years of experience helping people with struggles just like yours. You can do it all from your phone or computer via phone call, video chat, or messaging. However you feel most comfortable, it's the easiest possible way to start talking to a therapist. Let BetterHelp connect you to a therapist who can support you, all from the comfort of your own home. Visit BetterHelp.com/HotTakeHockey or choose Hot Take Hockey during sign up and enjoy a special discount on your first month. Atlantic Division. Florida Panthers, Toronto Maple Leafs, Boston Bruins, Tampa Bay Lightning. I can't get away from that order. I really, really can't get away from that order. I can't do it. Sabres and Sens are knocking on the door, but it's just so tough to break through that top four right now. Lightning might fall off a little bit, and maybe that gives the Sabres or Sens a chance to get into the wild card. Red Wings, they just didn't do enough in my eyes. Montreal's getting there. I could see Montreal being a couple spots up with the Patrick Laine addition, and I think they did get better. But I think Habs fans realize it's going to be a bit of a process. To me, I don't need to go too deep into the Atlantic Division. It should be those top four teams. The only team I could see falling off is the Lightning. Pacific Division, similar. Top three teams should be the top three teams. Edmonton, Vegas, Vancouver in my eyes. I think Seattle in terms of their depth could break through, but a really big asterisk in terms of their goaltending. And LA, I just don't think they got better, right? Like they fixed the Dubois situation, I guess, but what version are we going to get for Darcy Kemper? So I don't think the Kings got that much better, but I like some of the additions. I just don't know if they got necessarily better. Calgary, Anaheim, San Jose probably should be the bottom three teams, but maybe one of them surprise us. And Central. So I really went deep into the Metro because I think the Metro, there's a lot of possibility there, where I think the Pacific and Atlantic, we know where the top four teams should be, or the top three at least. Central, similar to the Metro a little bit in the sense of the middle of the pack. Like I still think Dallas, Nashville, Colorado should be the top three, but I could see any one of Winnipeg being up there. I could see Utah being a wildcard team. I could see Minnesota being a wildcard team, and I could see St. Louis being a wildcard team. St. Louis maybe not as much, but I think Chicago is still going to go through the transitional period this year. They did bring in a lot of veterans, so maybe they're pretty competitive. But I think that's how I see the Central. I think the top three teams should be Dallas, Nashville, Colorado. Winnipeg, if Hellebuck can have another Vezina type year, there's a good chance they're in the division spot. So those are probably your top four. The movement's tough, guys, in the NHL right now. I know parity is a lot better in the NHL than maybe other leagues like the NBA. NBA was a little different last year, but the NHL, I think a lot of the same teams should be up there, but a team like Nashville, who had a monster offseason, should be more dominant if they make the playoffs. They've been kind of an easy out when they get there the last few years. I think they could be more dominant in the playoffs if they get there. They have playoff performers from Stamkos to Marchessault. I think Nashville could have a huge chance to create some damage in the playoffs if they get there. So give me your thoughts, guys, on my early season predictions. I'm going to do a final season predictions before the season starts. After preseason, once we know all the final rosters, I will be doing that. And I'll be giving more reasoning on those teams at that point because I know the actual rosters. So let's get into playoff predictions early on here, about a month prior to the season. All right, we're back. This second round could have a lot of storylines. So in the predictions that you guys saw for the season standings, it'd be very similar potential matchups, right? Leafs versus Bruins. Could the Leafs finally get over the hump against the Bruins if they're at home in that Game 7? Maybe. Could the Penguins upset a team in the first round? Maybe the Panthers, as the Stanley Cup champions, we see a lot of Cup champs go down in the first round the following year. You never know. That could be the hot take. I think the Panthers could go on another run. Don't get me wrong. I have them first in the division for a reason. Rangers, Devils, what a matchup, what a rematch that would be. Oilers, Golden Knights, another great rematch. Stars, Avalanche, another great rematch. We could have an unreal second round. And the Leafs versus Dubas storylines, that'd be insane. Then you go down to a potential fast, crazy conference final matchups with the Leafs versus Devils, Leafs versus Sheldon Keefe. I'm doing the Leafs storylines again, guys, because it's early on here. I don't know the rosters yet. I have an idea, but it's okay to have some fun here. Oilers, Avalanche rematch. Oilers finally get the revenge, and we see an Oilers Devils Stanley Cup final. I think the Oilers are going to make their way back. That's the script. I'm so confident about that. Like the Oilers, they'd have to have some major screw-ups. I think if they can get the goaltending from Stuart Skinner or somewhere else, maybe they end up looking somewhere else, they may still have to add a defenseman or figure out what's happening with Darnell Nurse. Outside of that, even with losing Dylan Holloway, their forward group is unbelievable. One of the best depth in the league, like depth groups. Plus, you got two of the best superstars in the league. You added Jeff Skinner, you added Arvidsson. I just think overall their forward group has everything. Physicality, speed, scoring, net front, everything. So I'm going to pick Oilers to win the Stanley Cup again early on here. I did it last year. They went to the Stanley Cup final, lost to the Panthers. Similar to what happened with the Panthers, I think could happen with the Oilers. The Panthers went to the Cup final, lost to Vegas. They get their revenge the following year, win. Oilers could be the exact same thing. I don't know if NHL fans would want that necessarily because it feels like it's then a trend, and then everyone's going to look for the Devils to win the Cup the next year if it's the Devils. But Oilers, Devils would be a fast, fun Stanley Cup final. Hughes, McDavid, be a lot of fun. So give me your thoughts, guys, on your early predictions here, early September as I'm recording this video. Like I said, a month from now, we'll do our final predictions right before the first regular season game. So thank you so much for watching. I hope you guys enjoy the preseason, all the chatter going into the regular season. I hope you guys watch Hot Take Hockey for videos and live streams. I'll be coming up with some big news coming up as well. So subscribe, like, comment, notification bell. We will see you on the next one. Peace.